Let's go to this now. As inland schools reopen tomorrow, the Basic Education Department says preparations are underway to ensure that things go smoothly. The Gauteng Education Department at the same time says while many of the learners have been placed in schools, there's still some 1,300 pupils that are still awaiting placements. Now, the department says this process will be completed by the end of the month. Let's now speak to Basil Manuel, who's the National Professional Teachers Organization of South Africa's Executive Director. Basil, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. In your view, there's of course, the department saying that it's making sure that it's, things go smoothly tomorrow. But from where you're standing, is it all systems go?
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me again. Teachers will see that schools are ready. Principals will see that schools are ready to accept learners tomorrow. That is the normal job. That doesn't mean the problems associated with some areas and some schools have disappeared. It doesn't mean everything is hunky-dory, but I will agree to say the day will start tomorrow, every school will open, and things will have a semblance of smoothness. However, there are things we are worried about. Be it textbooks and stationery in the Eastern Cape, we'll be watching out for that next week. Do they have it? The overcrowding in schools in Gauteng and in some of the other provinces, we are watching for that too. Now, Gauteng has a particular problem of in-migration, and we understand that, and we understand the difficulties with planning. And we don't accept that 1,300 is the only figure. By tomorrow, more people will join the queue because in-migration happens all the time. So yes, in a measure, we are ready, and certainly our members have given us the assurance that they will have to see that every child's experience of the first day of school is a good one. That is what we are trying to achieve.
Let's talk about then the issue, of course, as you say, we are still to expect more pupils to be making their way to this particular province in order to, try to get some kind of access to the schooling system. How much pressure does this put on the schools as well as the teachers?
Gauteng Education Department as a department is under tremendous pressure because of the in-migration. That, of course, doesn't mean that the people are sitting in the regional or district offices. They are at the schools. The department has to help get those learners spaces. And we know, and I've mentioned it before, we've accepted and lauded the types of things that have been done where schools that can have been given money so that they can build, and additional mobile classes have been added. But those are stopgap measures. We also want to see a longer-term planning, simply because schools can only manage X number of pupils. It's not about the classrooms, you see. It's about how many hands open a door, how many bottoms sit on a toilet, and whether those toilets can withstand the pressure of that number of kids. And those are the things we've got to look at in the long term. It's unhealthy to have these mega schools. We lose touch. Principals don't know the children any longer. They are just too many. So those are some of the things that we are looking at in the long term. We know as an emergency, let's get children placed. But we also want to see that there's a plan in place to improve the system for the future. We can't preach about improvement and not show meaningful changes to improve the system. We want to see that education is, in fact, an apex priority.
And also another area of concern, I suppose, for yourselves right now is the fact that South Africa is now dealing with this new variant, albeit we're being told that there will be no restrictions at this particular moment. But how concerned are you about this?
Any health issue is a major concern, whether it is the measles outbreak, whether it is the report that more children of vaccination age are not being vaccinated, and then now, of course, the COVID issue. Those things impact on schools because of the sheer number. And going back to what I said earlier on, when you think about these mega schools, it becomes an even bigger issue. So our appeal to schools in general, our members in specific, saying is, let's be as safe as we can be. We appeal to parents as well. Let's keep our children safe. Let's follow those little protocols that make us safer, because we don't want to see outbreaks be it measles, be it COVID, in any school. It's disruptive to the system, and we've seen just how difficult recovery of a system is. We think about our matrics that have just completed and how much they had to catch up. And these matriculants of 2023, who themselves had 2 years plus of COVID impact, and how much they have to catch up. We don't want that scenario again. So prevention, much better than cure.
As a final question, talking about the issue of safety, we also saw incidents of bullying. We saw teachers coming under attack. We saw quite a lot happening in our schools. And I wonder, going into 2023, from your point, even as, you know, a union that's representing these teachers as well, how concerned are you about their safety, and what is being done now to ensure that they don't find themselves in these compromised positions?
Safety is a huge issue, and we are fully aware that we can't turn schools into areas where police are marching up and down. We know that. But there are things we can do that haven't been done in all places, such as perimeter fencing, such as ensuring that the people who access schools are the people who are allowed to access schools, and that there are some, in particularly in the hard to teach at areas, security guards, etc. But we know that notwithstanding all measures, things will happen. But once again, it's this tripartite alliance of the teacher and school, together with the parent, together with the department, that we need to be working together to ensure that our children come to school better disciplined, that there are consequences when there's misbehavior, even at home, and that parents support the schools. No school is simply just going to blame a child for things that don't happen. But if we are not working together, the system breaks down. And this is what we have seen happening in our schools and communities.
Mr. Manuel, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Do appreciate it. And let's see then how the first day goes off. And one hopes that it will be all systems go and things will run as smoothly as they possibly can. That's Basil Manuel, National Professional Teachers Organization of South Africa's Executive Director.